Welcome everyone to the Resistance and to Esoteric Radio. We're here broadcasting live and a series of several installments that we're going to be bringing forth, revealing some of the deepest secrets of esoteric knowledge. But before I begin, I wanted to introduce my co-host today, Son. Of course, I'm Sevan, and we are definitely here tonight to bring you high levels of knowledge. Son, if you wanted to go ahead and let everyone know that you're online.
I'm here.
Okay. And today what we're really going to be focusing on, as the title of the show is The Empire of the Sun, and exposing the empire of the sun. And what we aim to do today is to single-handedly piece together all of the things that are going on in the esoteric industry, even the music industry, the art industry, and how all these different organizations have connected together to bring the world into a part of the state that it's in now. And we believe personally, by revealing what's going on, that people will have that much more power, which is in information also, and the ability to be able to make the decisions on what they choose to affiliate themselves with. First and foremost today, what we'll begin with is I want to explain first what an empire is. And for anyone that's familiar with my work is really based upon taking apart the English language as if it's something of a Kabbalah, something of an abjad, where we look for the numerical equivalent, we look for the relevancy, and we look for the deeper meaning behind words of the English language in various languages. And from that level, we're capable of cracking into multiple levels of knowledge and the history of Earth and also multiple planetary systems. An empire itself, the term first imp, is given to an individual of a lower state of life or a lower level life form. Those who have their computers in front of them can Google the word imp and see that in the affiliations of in the definition of an imp, you'll see lower life forms. So an empire, and of course pyre meaning fire, empire is an organization or development of a large amount of beings that are on a lower level, according to the individuals that give it this term. And thus the term emperor indicates, which is only just adding an or to the end of the word, it indicates one who is actually ruling over an empire. And so what we'll begin with today is we'll first talk about the affiliation of the empire of the sun, and how that actually rolls along with things as far as what we're experiencing. But before we do that, I wanted to just give a moment to have Son just describe a few things about the industry and how it's turning directions, obviously, into arenas that feature more of esoteric involvement. And this goes in art, this goes in different things like that. Can you explain that to us, Son?
Well, yeah, it's basically like it's the same theme as in the Matrix, where everything goes to the machines, and it comes from that Industrial Revolution. Tailors used to do it by hand, and then it transformed into motions on the machine. Now, this same concept is prevalent now. I don't know if everybody heard 50 Cent just now mentioned how there is no more conscious community. And when we say conscious, we're talking about in hip-hop, which was also referred to as backpack rap, or was like underground hip-hop. And now you have the prominent figures, Mos Def and Talib Kweli, which was Black Star. You have Common. You have, which was like the only record label that had longevity, which was Def Jux. And before that, it was Raucus. So Def Jux is just now the lead rapper producer. He's like stepping down, and he even made amends with Puffy. But back in the day, there was this paradox. Even Wu-Tang spoke against, like the shiny suits and things like that. But now it's like everybody works together. You see RZA doing the vodka commercial with Vincent Gallo in Iraq. The streetwear brand, and all of these other Lower East Side, and as they have been titled in the New York Magazine, Andy Warhol kids, because it's all about like that Basquiat concept where, the youth are taught how to express themselves creatively, and they end up making a lot of money off of it. So this is what the underground, with the backpack, with the conscious hip-hop was about it was about expressing yourself with your creativity, and then not necessarily doing things just to sell, but, working on your craft. And this is, freestyle and lyricist lounge, sound bombing, all of these things. Lyricist lounge they actually had a show on MTV, and they actually tried to do this thing. Master Fowl, Thurston Howell, these are like the lowlifes who actually were robbing and stealing polo, and now, it's more so now they're endorsing them, and this is the main theme. There is no more underground, there is no more conscious. They have literally taken the conscious out of hip hop, and it has transformed into a cult. And now, within this cult, the main thing or the main theme in this cult is licensing. And so when you see a rapper or whatever coming out with these clothing lines, it's no more FUBU or 555 Soul in the Source magazine, and being black people or like academics being a black person coming with a clothing line, or a rapper coming with a clothing line. It's all licensing. So they're not looming the fabrics themselves. They don't have the vulcanized factories. It's commissioning. That's why everybody wants to wear Louis Vuitton or A-Life or anything.
Okay.
And those are this Louis Vuitton is luxury, and then A-Life is the streetwear. So that's like the rich and the poor, but they're both expensive, and they're both licensing.
Okay, and you definitely bring up the topic. Of course, we've talked a lot within, especially this last week, about what we were going to present here on the show and what we were going to uncover for individuals. And if I can simplify that any more, basically, we know personally that the rap industry, hip-hop industry, entertainment is the trend setting for this dimension right now. People are looking to, a great deal of people are looking to these individuals for the next level of guidance. And what Son is making a point of mentioning is that all around the world, the hip-hop music has been famous, and it's changed the culture of many different countries, whether they want to admit it or not. But there were two different types of hip-hop. There was the gangster rap, which was very vulgar and featured many things that those who wanted to delve in that could get involved in. But there was almost its opposite, which was more of what we used to term conscious rap, which was where the artist, from what we understand now, was pretending, or even maybe at that moment, but now has been converted, but was singing and rapping about something that was more positive and more that had to do with wholeness and love. But these same individuals have now taken not only their fan base, which has been of those conscious, loving individuals, and sent them to individuals such as Lil Wayne. And getting into this part of the conversation, of course, we can start talking about what's going on the deeper levels. But still remember Esoteric Radio. So what we're really here to do.
You were breaking up for a second. You're good now.
Oh, okay. Okay, and what we're really here to do, and for all those that also know, so I can mention now, I am overseas, and it's just the connection is never going to be really well here, but instead of allowing the connection to stop us from broadcasting this information to you, we went ahead anyway. So we just ask individuals to bear with us if there's any breaking up. And, of course, we'll give everyone the site now. All this information, what we're going to be doing next show is that the show is going to actually be interactive. So if you want to tell your friends and things like that, next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, we're going to do another show and continue these installments. But this time it'll be interactive. So we'll actually be able to give you not only the information, not only the photos, and every single thing that we're discussing here and on that show also, to show that what we're discussing is a very serious topic. It is something that is going on right now. It's not something that's supposed to take place in the past or in the future, but right now. And it is up to us as individuals to do something about that. Just like somebody was asking me today, they emailed me on the site, and they said, why would the Most High allow all of this to happen? And understanding some of the things that are going on here on the earth and definitely the wars and different things like that, why is the Most High allowing this to happen? And, of course, if a person is addressing it from that standpoint, if they're feeling like this is just too much, I responded simply to him that because the Most High wants us to do something about it. The Most High wants us to learn how to do these situations, because this is a lesson that you're going to need to learn at some point in your evolutionary string or in your and your development of consciousness, you're going to have to learn to isolate the individuals that you know are representing themselves as not the truth by their signs, their symbols, and their affiliations, and not based upon because someone said, hey, I like this person, or hey, I don't like this person. And so that's what's most important. So I wanted to talk about, Son, especially we got into this 333 for a moment, and there was actually something going on, definitely on Erykah Badu's site, where she was flagging this number, and I've seen people now affiliating themselves with this number. Can you tell these people what we saw when we logged into Erykah Badu's site and some of the affiliations that she seems to be involved in?
Well, yeah, I mean it's on there now. I'll post the site in the forum, erykahbadu.com. It's just you look on there. She's got the 3/30/2010, and this is AD. She puts, and then she says maybe, and this is part 2, Return of the Ankh. So everybody knows she just brought out this album. And now she's like collaborating with Lil Wayne. So it's like this is kind of like trippy because these are the people that they used to speak against. So in a similar fashion, you see her. She just now had a baby with Jay Electronica. So this is like the third conscious individual that she's been mingling with, and now it's like it's weird because he's a Moor, or he has the fez, and he put it on Diddy's head, and Diddy danced in it for a little bit. So it's like, you know, are we playing with the consciousness? Are we playing with the fact that sovereignty is not something that everybody is conscious of? You know, is this what I'm trying to figure out is where, like, she has a symbol on her cheek, you know, where and she put the Meduna Tear on her last album as well. So it's like they have this affiliation with the consciousness. You look on Jay Electronics Vimeo and you see Nas and Talib Kweli talking about Prince Hall, you know, the masonry scripts that they received, and the fact that they're now astral traveling, which Talib Kweli says is teleporting. So what is this giving to the people that are listening? Is this something for us to be spectators and specter at and look at, or is this something for us to participate with them, or are these callings? And this is the thing that I want to just make this last point. The conscious community is like the mainstream, or conscious rap is just like mainstream rap, because these labels, like whenever we talk about Jay-Z or Erykah Badu or Lil Wayne or anything, we're really talking about the people who they work for, because they were appointed there. And so now look at Koch. Look at how Koch is coming in, and look at the name Koch. This is similar to Cohen on Warner Brothers. You know, so he's responsible for Blacksmith, and Corey Smith is his management label. You know, so I'm just more so like, you know, I was always a fan of the NBA, but I was also a fan of, you know, why can't we do another ABA? Why can't we do our own thing?
Okay, you know, now, when you brought up, you know, this reminds me of something. You know, when you brought up that these individuals, especially like Erykah Badu affiliating with Lil Wayne, has been basically somewhat of a treachery to individuals that have been following that, but will listen to this type of music now because Erykah Badu is playing that role. But what I want to also note is that this is not just in the industry of music and art and things like that. When these type of moves take place with the ones that are making things happen here in this situation that we currently find ourselves in on Earth, the ones that have been making the decisions, let's take for the United States, the Empire State Building. What I brought up before is that when you build the largest building in the world, the tallest building in the world, it's a symbol of power. And Dubai, of course, has showed now China now has the largest building in the world. They built something straight into the sky. And then, of course, Dubai took that role right when they hit the forefront of everything with the oil. And then, of course, now they're taking a break off the market, even saying they're bankrupt. And now they're passing the torch to China. But what we see also is that America, or really more of the United States, but there is affiliation with a lot of the Americas, who has been labeled as sometimes as the prostitute, has decided now to get into bed with China. And where I noted that was on China's 60th anniversary, the Empire State Building was lit up, yellow and red, which is, of course, the Chinese colors, and it was flashing. And many people in New York were questioning at that moment, if we fought communism for so long, why would we show that somehow we commemorated? It's a total disrespect to all the individuals that have died thinking that there was a such thing as communism that didn't exist within our government and wasn't one of their ideas. And so I just want to also let everyone know, if you're calling in or if you're in the chat room, and the website itself is the Resistance 2010. That's www.resistance2010. I'll give that one more time. That's www.resistance2010. There's lots of information in regards to what we're talking about. There's videos, but more than anything, let's get back to, or forward, as I always say. Let's get forward to, what do you think that is really going to take place here as far as the height of this? Do you see personally the merging of everyone's concept, just like as the New World Order is merging the business world? We can definitely say we're also witnessing that in the industry of entertainment.
Yeah.
Would you agree on that? Definitely.
This is the whole thing with Damien Hirst. He's very renowned artist. If you just type in his name, Damien, Hirst, Hirst. He makes these art paintings, and he put a lot of stuff into Jay-Z's work. So this is why Jay-Z's latest video on to the next one is a bit more it looks a bit more like a fashion video, like Prada or something like that. And Jay-Z has endorsed Mason Martin and Margiela. Okay, so all of this thing is showing you what is triggering is going from the hip-hop to the fashion, and then it's going to go from fashion to art. So really, it's all the same thing. So when you talk about the hip-hop, you're talking about the art, because the art has for a very long time been the commerce, because we're moving away from, like Jay-Z was telling us, we're moving away from money. And if you see in Birdman, and it's funny, his name is Birdman, with Lil Wayne, they have these videos going on, and they're showing you that we're moving away from U.S. dollar to the euro, and really that's just a facade. If you look at what Swiss Beats has been doing with the artwork, working with Kid Robot, he's like, Kid Robot is my brand, but it's not his brand because it existed before him. And this is just another form of licensing, but these are all to go towards artwork, because art is the commerce. This is the way that a person can express themselves fully with no holds barred, and they don't have to worry about being censored. Like, even if you make a porn magazine and you put it on a shelf, and you'll know from the Hustler, Larry Hustler, who Woody Harrelson played in the movie, that it was about censoring. So it's more so capitalism when you come to the market, but on the other side, the artwork thing, this is where it's, no holds barred. A. Rashid put up a video, it's going now, of Basquiat, and these guys, if you look up enough, you'll see them bidding on Basquiat in the millions. And this is a child in the Lower East Side, New York, LES, making millions off of his artwork. This is obviously after he's gone. But this is
right.
Via Andy Warhol again, who capitalized off of that culture.
Okay, definitely. The other thing that I wanted to let definitely the listeners and viewers know, because a lot of these names, especially that are being dropped, are very unfamiliar, because again, this is the inner workings of what's happening. See, many people, what the resistance does is we highlight the actual root of the situation and get things solved, rather than bringing up the individuals that are really the puppet. But these are the individuals that are in the background that are orchestrating things. But what we have been able to map out at this point, and definitely what we have come in to know about, is that, and a lot of people are definitely to know about this, is this occult affiliation that has already infiltrated itself in the rap industry, but is now weeding itself into the art world, but art being the highest expression of what we have creative people involved in here on this earth. So what we're really highlighting here, if one wants to see the big picture, is that if this is allowed, then the expression, or how your children, or how people in the future that are coming, the children when they get older, how they'll actually see art and the expression of life.
Well, let me interject this. let me interject this. If you look at Lil Wayne's pants that he's been wearing, they're really tight, but around the waist area, it's like it's giving the facade that they're sagging. So there goes that name again, sagging, niggas sagging. In case, the reflection. Now, I'm saying this because these fashion reports are given out on things that are called a doppelganger, but this is how they create the styles. And this is what I wanted to interject. What is being portrayed as, it's called new dandyism. Now, if you look this up, you'll see it. It's called new dandyism. Now, if you look up what a dandy is just a person who's concerned about their clothing. There are these men in Africa. It's a new movement called Le Sape, Lesape, and it's the fusing of French traditional fashion and then the men's taste. And now these are African men, and they wear very vibrant colors and pinks and salmon colors and things like that. But it has nothing to do with anything feminine. Now, on the other side, the fashion companies take this same concept and they dress the women like the men. So when the children, or like the Little Waynes looking at this clothing line, they're looking at the clothing line on a woman, so they're not wearing it how the men are supposed to wearing it. But even though it's a style coming from a man, it's a woman wearing it. So it's the dual perception that you're seeing, and you can't recognize it if you don't know the history of it. And when you hear people say, "Oh, you rocking all those colors, that's gay." No, it's not, because you have to look at your chakras. Your chakras are colors. There's nothing wrong with colors. It's just the twisted things like the Crowleyanism, Aleister Crowley, and the things that he is perverted, and twisted inside out. And this is what you're being fed on the mainstream. As you dig, you start to see this, these patterns. But when you're looking at it from a skewed perspective, it looks like chaos, and you don't know what it is.
Indeed. I was also thinking just now, the cult affiliation, again, is so heavy that there's a staying power with these individuals' music, and that's why it's so important to address it. What we decided also to do is to address this from a level where there's a solution, because there's a lot of different talks and things going on that they give a person a lot of facts and a lot of information, just enough for them to already make a decision within themselves that, hey, maybe I need to investigate things closer. Hey, maybe I need to analyze how am I thinking and what my objective is in life. And, of course, the resistance is definitely in place to enhance individuals to a higher level of operation, not only with the intellect, but also with the chakra center of the body and the spiritual system of the body, because a lot of this was uncovered definitely by our discovery within to the spiritual world and understanding exactly how it works. I personally, enough people know what the transformation that I took, and just the information alone that's been coming across the portal. It's just not gotten to a level where everyone can access it, and that's what we're doing now. But the information that's come across has been on the highest level. So I wanted to now get into definitely, and of course we're only into 30 minutes, and we still definitely have a half-hour show today. I wanted to get into this cult evolvement of 333, which is really simplified 9. And that's really what we also wanted to center the show around, because this is about the empire of the sun. And so I just wanted to lay a little groundwork here, and then I definitely wanted to get deeper with Son about some of the claims of individuals in the music industry and in these, not even so much in the industry, but also in these back offices and what they're actually affiliated with. But the first thing is, of course, this understanding of this magical system. 333 is 9. 9 is the number, is the Sumerian number. Each faction that has chosen to manifest itself here on Earth and guide the consciousness of the individuals here has chosen numbers and symbols to represent themselves, and 9 is one Anunnaki symbol. The city in record is Nineveh. The An, which is the term that's given to these beings, are really backwards Na, because it's the same numerical equivalent. This is Nana and Nana, which was the Sumerian equivalent of who we call Lilith. Now, Lilith, her her other name when they begin to compress names for more power is Lil. So if you look at individuals that come into the music industry and the first thing they title themselves Lil, or Little, which you would think is short for Little. Now, you would ask yourself, if this guy is going to shoot up the whole area and claiming that he's this and that and the other, and there's Lil Wayne, there's many Lils in this industry, why would they name themselves Little? If anything, they would name themselves Boss or Big. So obviously the term doesn't make sense. But when you understand it, that what this music industry is doing is they're taking these individuals and they're introducing them to lower levels, or what's called lesser grimoires, of the Kabbalah, and allowing them to affiliate with jinn, or some call also invisible ethereal life forms that have various different abilities. And that's also why certain individuals that have gotten themselves into the industry had no ability whatsoever, but understood the occult and projected themselves into something that they thought was going to make amends for them. But I'm from definitely talking to Son, but on the ground, intel says something different, meaning that on the outside, they're painting it like, yes, come get involved in this beautiful world, but even as Lyndon Honor uncovered in the Rihanna video, that other world is disturbed. So this is now, but what's mainly being highlighted here is not so much as the roughness of hip-hop, because everyone's always known about that, and if you don't like that, as they say, you just stay away from it. But what we're talking about now is somewhat of a virus itself now spreading, as me and Son are highlighting right now, into some of the finer arts of life that haven't yet seen the brunt and bruteness of something like gangster rap, or as I call rape music, because the word is R-A-P, rap. You put an E on it, it's rape. The vibration is coming out. When low bass comes out, as being in the studio, Son spent a lot of time in the studio also, so he could definitely witness to this, but the bass I noticed was negative 20,000 amplified at times, negative 20,000 hertz, negative 1 hertz, things like this. What happens, what I realized that is the biggest understanding with people in sound is that you can hear any sound as long as you amplify it. So just because you go into negative doesn't mean, which is a distorted frequency if you fire it at water, it doesn't mean that that negative will, basically for better lack of words, it doesn't mean that you won't be able to hear it. Because if you amplify it, it sounds like bass. So when because a person is 70% water, firing this type of music at their body actually begins to distort their level of consciousness. But again, now so that we have our arms around that, and then the final tip of this being that this planet is called Earth, which is, just lose the spelling, U-R-T-H, Earth. Ur is Chaldea. Even in the Arabic, it's or Urdu, and in many different languages, it's still So we know that the affiliation from of course, when the Bible begins, it says this man Abraham is from this name Abraham is Ab, which means father. Father Ra from the tribe of Ham. So obviously, we can definitely say there's more to look into to all of where we're located right now, and that's actually our responsibility to do. And so let's talk about what do you normally see the assimilation process, Son, when they tend to get involved into these industries? Like what? Is there?
Well, this is the thing. Like what I was saying before about this dandy thing. Like, dandy is just means somebody that dresses nice, right? So it's nothing wrong with looking good, but you recognize how the clothing is going from what seemed like baggy and dirty to this suit thing where Jay-Z's like, get the button up and stop worrying about rims. So then it's like, okay, worry about your appearance. But then it went from there to like Farnsworth Bentley with like tights. And now listen, this is the thing, new dandyism. So they took dandy and they made this is their theory. I'm reading off of this newdandyism.com. There is nothing so agonizing to the fine skin of vanity to the fine skin of vanity as the application of a rough truth. So this is basically saying that a man, you read into it, it's basically saying that a man should be more feminine and that women should be more male. And if you recognize our times, these times, this is exactly what's going on. Like looking at the videos, it's not guys on World Star Hip Hop fighting. It's a bunch of women. You know, a bunch of little girls.
You know what? It's very interesting that you bring that up, because what I notice is that just like the positive and negative gets misinterpreted to being good and evil, and as I always say, positive and negative is something that you see under a microscope. It's not the good and evil that man has developed. But it's also the same thing with the feminine that exists within everyone. Everyone has a half. The body is split down the middle. There's a seam down the middle. Everything is made in pairs. There's a masculine side and a feminine side, if you want to give it that term, or if one fluid and another fluid, or a blue and a red, whatever type of opposite exactly exists exactly within the body. So we do understand that there is a feminine side. What the main thing that should be highlighted is that feminine side has something to do with intuition. It has something to do with extrasensory abilities. It has something to do with another interface, because if the atmosphere itself is somewhat masculine, it presents another interface for you to plug into the atmosphere. Just like they say on a cable, there's a male and a female cable, and they both plug into each other. So this feminine side, which exists normally within left-handed people, which left-handed people tend to be a lot more artistic, and some individuals noting that when they've taken their self into a higher vibration, the use of both hands after that, meaning both sides of the brain, are balanced. So what I was looking at definitely is that when we were talking, I want to really also talk about when we were noticing within some of the photography that was being shot, there was really more or less of a detached feel to everything. And so I wanted to talk basically about the level of interest that these people have that tend to be working behind these counters. Like, they're not really tapped in. Like, when they started talking about soulless people, I believe that this is where they find most of these individuals. And the main thing that I was noticing, especially when you started highlighting some things a few weeks ago, is that this is a very affluent world. This is actually what's going on in the penthouses and in the galas and in the government buildings and in all this. This is the culture or the nighttime activities that are being shared in. Right.
I think it was Azazel that said, he does like a lot of very dark occult things, and he also deals with another side where it's like speaking with dolphins. But he said something about, I'm not sure if this was him, but this is who I'm remembering. Hillary Clinton had everybody bow to like a black Madonna, or this black goddess statue. And then I just read where Obama was supposedly upset with Michelle's mom for practicing Santeria. Okay, so this is and now check this out. I got a picture with Obama and Terry Richardson. Now, Terry Richardson is like one of these fashion photographers, but it's like he photographs Jackass. He photographs Lindsay Lohan for Purple Magazine, but then he photographs like Andy Warhol. I mean, and I hate to keep going back to him, but this is the culture, and it's like your president is affiliating with Terry Richardson, don't you? But not everybody is interested in photography. But now is the time that Diddy, he puts out a video with him and Terry Richardson. He's like, yo, this is the best photographer in the world, And the crazy thing is that people are not like the people who are voting. Like my parents, they're voting for Obama. They haven't been able to recognize this type of content that Terry Richardson puts out and then put it together that him and Obama are in this picture. And when you see the picture, it's silly, right, because it looks just like all the other pictures, like the picture of Macaulay Culkin that they had on America magazine, where he's like spitting, like, and he's got the spit dropping. It's on the same white background as all of these other images. So you're seeing your president like you're seeing Lindsay Lohan. Or Johnny Knoxville.
That's something that I guess, we definitely should highlight for the people. There's a lot of embedding going on with the mind, so that when certain schemes, like if you look at basically everyone's going to know when they're looking at a Salvador Dali painting, because of the whole dripping thing going on.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that's Salvador Dali. And then most of these Picassos you can definitely tell, especially the ones that pretty much consist of a blob, a paint or something, or of abstract art. But when you talk about the height of this, because what I see really happening now is that it's, as we blogged about on the site, that it's hitting another level because everything is speeding up. So these individuals are also speeding up, but because it appears that they're definitely headed in the wrong direction, they're starting to self-destruct, which is obviously what the 9 is about. And when I was noting that these individuals were encouraging other individuals that were also just coming up in the industry, like when we look at the affiliation between Jay-Z and Rihanna and how when she was just coming up, she was there. What I also noted was that there were certain individuals that were playing this role of what we call a brood, meaning that they were kind of initiating other individuals. And we talked about definitely this affiliation with Erykah Badu, who first dates Common, who was the basic the conscious rapper, and then she goes to Jay Electronica, which is doing his thing, and then she, of course, first was with Andre and his whole level of doing things. And so what I wanted to now definitely shift to is I wanted to start tying this in. Basically, I want to start tying this in with how the New Age movement has everything to do with all of this that's taking place. Because we touched on something very lightly, but we can kind of head now in that direction, the do what thou wilt, which is on Jay-Z's shirt. Now, first of all, I will say that the term do what thou wilt, which is the term that they're giving Aleister Crowley, existed long before Aleister Crowley, and it's been highly misinterpreted. Because of our culture, we think do what thou wilt means do what you want. Do what you want is the whole of the law, but that is not what that meant. What it meant was, when you say do what thou wilt, it means that anything that you intend on doing, what you will, basically, whatever you intend on doing, you have to will it. You will have to do it yourself. That is the highest level of this form of magic. So it's basically like saying everything that you intend to do, there's no God. You're going to have to do it yourself. That's what do what thou wilt means. Now, this further stemmed into a group of individuals who understood that the God could never exist, or the Most High, as I term, the Most High could not exist externally. It would be just impossible. So it existed internally. So there was no need of worshiping anything external. And that is the knowledge that had become the root of organizations, even as the Luciferian organization. But they still, in their cabals, were not worshiping themselves. They were worshiping many different things. So when we saw... Go ahead.
Okay, this submission factor is the... and I'm saying that because it's the worshiping thing. It's like... and just to relate, so that you can see how it ties in. Like T.I. on stage, he's screaming out Louis Vuitton rag, but they made him bleep it out of the video. But he still wears it and he still buys it. So there goes the worshiping for you. And then when you look at Louis Vuitton, you have to look at it as not a fashion brand, but as a cult that is tied to a deity. This is why they have the V in there, and the other symbols. They use the flower of life. Okay, so you can...
it's almost, if you look at that Louis Vuitton, that looks very much like a Masonic symbol in itself. And but all of these organizations where we definitely know were a part of the older families that had gotten themselves affiliated with it. But the main thing now is to talk about where are things going now, because everyone is now figured out. Well, not everyone, but some people have now figured out the mysteries of life, and they've taken the covers off of the esoteric involvement of the industry. I wanted to start talking about what that's really going to cause. The first thing it's going to cause is certain individuals that definitely don't see there's another option are going to try to join these factions. And that's why I watch sometimes, like I watch different work that's coming out on the internet, and for anyone who's familiar with my video work, they see how I definitely feel about a lot of the stuff that's being presented, especially to the people who are now in a point in their life where they're looking for answers. And these answers are deeper than someone's pocket and what they want to make as far as money and what they think is success. These answers are about their galactic involvement, their celestial being, what they're experiencing. Many people are experiencing paranormal things. Of course, at the Resistance, we do have a lot in our archives about different types of experiences that people have when they're making this transition, because we are very aware that people are ascending, but there's, as it says in the book, the ladder is going up and down. And I see a lot of what's going on now as these individuals are willing to, because they know they've pretty much sold their soul to this, just take everyone else down with them. And the reason why the Resistance is here is we can't allow it to happen. Our next show definitely will, as we continue this installment, will be about a few of the other things that we discovered, especially within a lot of individuals that are now proclaiming that they're here to help us, but they're not, meaning that there has been an actual V that has manifested itself on this dimension already and prepping themselves to come out and gather people together that are of the, what I can just say is the namaste and love and light crowd. Those people who are still kind-hearted people and very gentle, but are very similar in their ways to the Christians, because I always call them, the New Age movement, the second blow of Christianity, because they still affiliate with the same God. The thing is that I was looking at, because we're almost at the top of the hour, so I was going to take a break. I was going to definitely look into some of the stuff that's going on in the chat room and some of the people that are on the line so we can get some questions answered. And but just coming at the top of the hour, on the I want you to talk to the people, basically, son, about, well, really out to the children, because really what we're going to do is we're taking this work and we're putting it more into the hands of the children that are going to have to deal with this, like in the hands of the kids that are in the high schools and things like that, because they understand this more so than some of the crowds that we also attend to attract. But still understand that the Resistance sees a bigger picture as far as how the children need to understand what's happening, because they have the notion to want to understand, and so we don't want them blindly going into things. Wow. So with these clothes and stuff like that, right, what have you seen in the clothing industry right now?
Well, this is I'm gonna take it to like the all the industries in one. In this sense, it's like the children now, like they don't want to be Jordan anymore because he doesn't exist, you know. And if he does exist, then they do want to be like him, but in the branding sense, but not necessarily, because we don't really relate to Jordan anymore. You know, I mean, all right, now this is how I can put it. When you rap, you go on the computer and then you print it out and then you give it to everybody that you know. Now, when we have a facility for this, which they have these things in schools now in Baltimore, but the children are not happy and they're still not learning, you know, and they're still not, you know, becoming stars necessarily, you know, because this thing it's more than just having the tools, and it's like we were talking about earlier.
Are you saying like a rap school? Is that what you're saying?
Well, not necessarily a rap school, but you know, all of these things. You know, they'll be looming. You know, they'll have the like. And the thing is, Damon Dash, he just put out a interview with Days Digital, and he's talking about how he's doing all of these things. They got the merchandise, they got the movies, they got the fashion, they got the you know, all of it. They got the media, they got the radio shows. So this is the thing, you know, you having all of these things facilitated, but at the same time, this esoteric information that we have at the Resistance is the library, the esoteric library that we have. This is the whole thing that I'm mentioning all of these, you know, rappers, because I like them, you know, and I listen to them and I grew up on them. I grew up on Kool Moe Dee and KRS-One, but I also grew up on Erykah Badu and Common and Mos Def. I really did. Like Common, he had the song about Assata Shakur. This is how it made me look at Tupac Shakur differently. So there's a definite history that we'll get into on later installments in the series and editions that we have. But the gist of all of this thing is like if you give me this information and you say, like Bootsy Collins, he'll do a video showing you how to play that bass. He'll say, we do it on the one, and we're gonna do it like this, and then he's showing you so you can do that funk, so you can feel it with him when you at the show, and he can come to your show and feel yours. But we don't have that school. You see, those secret societies, they dissipated, and they have never been established again. There hasn't been anything since the Black Panthers, Nation of Islam, the Dr. York thing, and then all of the YouTube. Now it's YouTube. But I mean, we need these societies, and we need schools to do different. And that's and this, I sound mundane, but that's the bottom line. We need another curriculum. And why are people so hooked on just being a part of the NBA and NFL? Like, what's wrong with creating your own? It's like it's not as much fun when you do it yourself. But I've seen the other side. I've seen this independent side, and this is why because it's a transition that we have watched from them going from independent to dependent, and back in the place.
You know what? And I mean, definitely one of the main things to highlight is basically when a person is out there and they're looking for some level of information that's higher than what they're being told, or some place to go to feel like they're actually more, those doors are starting to be closed because there is no more join this organization.
The outlets are closing.
Yeah, I mean they're closed. When
now look, I got a partner. He's 30. I'm just the last thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let you go. But he's 30. He's 30 something years old, and he's like, I can't be a Mason because I got this charge or whatever. I'm like, dude, you can be whatever you want to be. And now this is now telling him that is one thing. Now I'm telling him that because I want to give him, like, I want to talk to him like Martin Luther King saying, I've seen the promised land, but I also want to tell him, okay, and I'll work with you to get there with you. I have a plan. So this is the difference between, it's like prior to this we went through questions, and then we went through the answers, and now, like, the resistance, we have these solutions. We have literal solutions. It's like interfacing directly with these authors, and this is what we have. This is what we haven't had, and now it's just a matter of it's so hard to see it now because it's so much information out there. So it's just the conscious part finds it.
And the main thing though still is that we have a lot of interaction. Like the people, we definitely interact with the people every day. And we get in touch with the people versus a lot of the individuals that are out now, they're not interested in talking to anyone. All they're interested in doing is putting out their information and keeping a monologue going. I'm going to answer your question, and then, I'll email you your answer. But the people at this point, they need to be talked to. They need to be able to interface. And on top of that, they need to be able to, that's also what the resistance is about, is that there's things that people can do that it's not money. That can just invest some of their time and get some of the information to more people, because that's the main thing. Like, this is not about money. When we started the resistance, with the Code and Matrix and writing the Code and Matrix myself, we gave the book away for free just so people can put themselves in the know. Right. And so the portal, actually what we're doing is opening up again that area. Just so, because we know not everyone's going to want to listen, not everyone's going to go, and not everyone's going to like it, and that's not the concept anyway. You can't do it for everyone. That doesn't make any sense. But for those individuals that want to go to the next level of existence, want to go into the higher levels of what your body is capable of doing, from the astral travel to the interaction with your own self from an extrasensory level, meaning turning on your abilities, understanding what shapes do, geometry, different things like that, then that's the door that we've opened back up. And so, it's definitely good. I wanted to personally thank a few individuals. First of all, I wanted to thank everyone at the Resistance. It's just been phenomenal for me. Like, sometimes you're painting so much you never step back off the painting. But stepping back off the painting, sometimes I'm looking at it and I'm looking at how many individuals are just getting into thought and just higher levels of joy, because there's always joy that comes when you find out something new, if it's bona fide, if it's verifiable. and that's definitely why we want to do the interactive show. And so I'm going to let you definitely take us to the top of the hour. I guess there was another part of the recording, but I'm going to let you take us to the top of the hour on this.
All right, so with this, we're gonna run another track.
Yeah, we're just going to run another track, and we're going to take a real brief break, and we're going to get back with everyone, and then I'm going to catch up. Mainly, I wanted to catch up with the chat room, and I wanted to definitely catch up with some of the individuals that may have questions.
We did have a caller with their hand up.
Okay.
And it never works when it's supposed to, so.
Okay, so we'll just take, sometimes with the Blog Talk we do definitely experience a little bit of technical difficulties, but the beauty of it is that you can always come back and replay it and then just fast forward the parts that, the technical difficulty was going, because there's so much information being ciphered at every single moment. A person could go back on one piece of the conversation and just deal with that. Like, I'll do this before the top of the hour. Now, Sony, and this is what we'll start showing. Now, Sony is S-O-N-I. In English, the Y can also be an I. So you have S-O-N-I. So this is the anagram for the word Sion, S-I-O-N, which is Zion. Now, this company has single-handedly been responsible for giving us all the electronics. Like, they're responsible for PlayStation and many other little small games. So just that alone to understand what the consciousness they affect. And not ever did they give one game that was about levels of higher consciousness. I mean, maybe they gave some fairies in the forest and things like that, but these are companies that actually understand the science, as it's called, science. If they understand the science of the body, so they could easily give a video game that would have turned on everyone's chakras. So what we're really also doing this for is because this is now the time where everything's coming out, obviously, because individuals are revealing their involvement with things that are now able to be verified, and they don't care. What we are doing is we want these companies to come out and tell us now what's going on. What is the plan that they think they have for mankind? Because that's something that it seems like with these now disclosure movements and getting in touch with these people and interfacing with them, these new disclosure movements, it seems like all of these countries want to talk about what they've really been involved in. But now we actually have a system to determine whether or not they're telling us the truth or whether they're still giving us the illusion, which is Ilu Zion, still understanding that this is still something as a product of Sumerian and Chaldean magic.
and I like the fact that you brought up the solution aspect, because this is the thing that even when you say you're going to interface again with these individuals in the industry. I mean, all of these individuals I've interfaced with a lot of them. I've actually done work for a lot of them. But the whole point is it's like the Matrix, and they can't get out. They're in it under. Now, it's funny because while I'm saying this switchboard is acting up, and the whole time it was fine. But yeah, the main aspect of these the industry is it's not really an industry in the aspect of each man is a brand. Like if you ever watched the movie The Corporation, it talks about how the person is the corporation. And you're just, licensing to all these other individuals, as opposed to, like, what I did in order to work with them, it was more so me outsourcing a client. Now, the difference is that, I don't have any attachment, and now and the difference with them is they have attachments as far as contracts and, like, credit and things like that, but on top of it, they have these Faustian traditions and Faustian deals that they have made, and I mean this goes even as far back to Edgar Allan Poe. It goes far back to Robert Johnson. When you look up the deal with the devil, it's an actual thing. And so John Todd and Svali, they tell you about these lifestyles. So this is the thing that you will want to communicate to the children, is that your heart. People stay away from the heart. They say it's the brain, and it's both of them. So, and then when it comes to that, it comes into a whole nother realm. So you want to give people goals, and this is why I like the fact also that we're moving not necessarily away from, but we're giving something after the word God, because we say God because this is how we all relate. but then we have the Most High. And you say, well, what's greater than that?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It really kind of sums it up. I mean, the term itself, and then it's funny. It's also mentioning this they want time. They want to buy the person's time. I was noticing how companies like Google and companies like Shell are basically offering so many different systems to where a person can work at home and get paid by them that are just even beats their job. I was just noticing, I said, well, wait a minute, they're obviously ready to buy people's time because the deal is, a person can't even refuse it. Like looking at, when I was looking at Shell, when they deregulated power, Shell was the first to move in to offer people a percentage off of their phone bill. They were offering the company who got the person to switch over $250 each person, and they were also giving the person $100 in a trip somewhere. So basically, the offer was, especially when the world was in a power crisis at that point, the offer was, for most people, they couldn't refuse it. And so what I was thinking about is these companies like Shell and Google are so interested in doing something that has the equivalency of the quiz on MySpace to what do you think your future soulmate's initial is going to be. And this wastes a person's at least 10, 15 minutes of their time. But these companies now seem to want everyone to focus on this stuff, especially their icons in the industry, because that's why their icons in the industry are being forced to tap dance harder. And it's killing them, basically. Like when you look at their physical condition and their spiritual condition, it's, in the negative, obviously. But that's really where the focus is going. But we're highlighting now the reason why and now an option to what else you can also do that will be equally as entertaining. Because what happens in the world is most individuals, they're like, okay, well, yeah, I understand spirituality, but it's kind of boring because they're already been raised on an externalized world. But when you open up for them the beauty of when you feel yourself coming out of the body, or the high intellect when you actually are able to look through something and see it as from a quantum level and see how it all relates to the things that are going on even in something as large as the cosmos. Well, this is actually entertaining. It's actually investing in yourself.
That sun that you have that goes to the nucleus. As soon as my switchboard fixes or whatever, I'm going to put this caller in. But I did want to touch on that micro macro. Like I was saying, when you and this is the same way you're saying it on a very scientific level, which is the attachment is like instead of talking about Jay-Z, talk about his boss. Because I'm with everybody else. I can't stand these Jay-Z videos anymore. I'm like, I don't have any problem with them. If he puts out a decent song, I listen to it. I haven't been on the latest stuff because it's been real like Empire State, New York and things like that. And I love New York, but I didn't really relate because I'm not from New York. But at the same time, they put out this stuff on Jay-Z, and it's like it's becoming surface, and it's becoming like Jesse Ventura, with the conspiracy TV. So it's like talk about who he works for, because he works for somebody. Right. Talk about Rick Rubin. It's like I like the videos with Rick Rubin in them, but then I would like to know what he's doing in a little bit more about him, like do some biographies. Right. Now, I read biographies in individuals in the streetwear community. They revere Rick Rubin, okay, and because he has that occult look, he has the Rosicrucian look. He looks like Rasputin. I don't know if that's his name, but he's got the beard. Okay, so this is and he's big. He's big. He's fat, and he's got the beard, and he's into black and white magic, and then he's on TV with his feet out with Russell Simmons. Like everything's all fine and dandy. Okay, because this is the facade that they want to give you. They want to tell you that blood and guts is all good, but you'll never see that. You'll see Alice in Wonderland until, and then it's just I think it's this House of Mirrors. So if you guys look at the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, and this is where Heath Ledger was supposedly killed or whatever, this has the same concept. This is one man's mind. All of these brands, like when you look at the brands, you got like Louis Vuitton, or okay, how about Chanel? Chanel's Karl Lagerfeld. This is who Kanye's really cool with. He made the shoes with Marc Jacobs. So all of these brands, it's one person. Vivian Westwood, it'd be one person, and it's their mind, and then it's all these other people that go inside of their mirror. So that's what entertainment is. Tame is like a perforated mirror, like aluminum. So when it's cut, then it's showing skews in different directions like a diamond. It's giving you all different perspectives, and it's somebody else's. So they said the one main thing, I'm not going to spoil the movie, but is when you come in here, it should only be one person because two people's imaginations at one time is dangerous. So this is just saying don't worship anybody else.
But even in the deeper tense, they're also showing that this imagination of the individual that is now wanting to pervade itself over the dimension, it wants to be the primary imagination, and so the primary goal is to not allow people to lock into higher levels of knowledge. And so people need to understand that main pivotal point, that key. It's like, why are they doing this?
Right.
And that the answer to that question is so you don't access the higher levels of knowledge. So what we're telling you is that the higher levels of knowledge is available. It's been filtered, and it can get to you free and right away. And it takes you to a higher level where all of this of what we're talking about just becomes more of a reason on why you should tap into to higher levels. And so you'll see all this after a while as a benefit. As I said in the beginning, the guy said, why is the Most High doing this? And I said, because the Most High wants everyone to learn how to get themselves out of it instead of always waiting for something. Like one of the models is, we are the ones that we're waiting on. But what we have taken also a point in doing, as you know, the term is the esoteric, is there's certain times where when you break certain boundaries, and like what was just highlighted on serpent worship, when people should understand now, when they break certain boundaries, insisting that the mankind, they send out their format of information and insisting that mankind bow down and worship Bruce Lee, which is some of the stuff that I'm hearing these days,
right,
then they should definitely understand at that point that we're going to throw a flag on the play. And we're going to continue to...
If you study Bruce Lee, he tells you outright that you have no style. No style is another way of saying do not worship. A style is something created by a man that people follow, and they end up making doctrines and dogma out of it. So Bruce Lee is outright telling you, no style, be water, my friend. So you have to shape any glass. And what that's saying is, if you have water in your glass, then you have to shape yourself. You can't shape me because you don't even know what style I'm using because it doesn't have a name. Right,
and that's definitely, you know what, when you bring that up, that gets it even deeper. You know, we're just going to continue right into this. That term name, which I always make sure I highlight each time anything is recorded because it is one of the powerful ciphers of this dimension, is also the word main, which is M-A-N-E, and this term was actually given in Zoroastrianism in the tribes of Mani of also anagram for Amen, A-M-E-N, and this term means hidden, in that there was these words of power that were hidden and then given to certain individuals to pronounce, and those words evoked things. But the fact of the matter still is the first level of our understanding has always been silent. Has always been communication that goes on that acts as telepathy with our consciousness and our species. And as we see in Babel or Abel, which they try to make as the good son that gets killed by Cain, they begin to introduce individuals this program, these languages, this ability to externalize and rather than internalize. But one thing about it is that we've definitely learned a lot of things out of this experience. So there's definitely nothing we can say that's hindering us at this point except for ourselves.
Right.
The only person that can now hold a person back, if they're listening to this show, like it says, if you're listening to this, then you are the resistance. It's because if you're listening to this, the resistance exists inside. It's just your immune system. And as long as it's strong and powerful, you can withstand anything, and you can be conscious of withstanding it. And that's, that's one of the things that, the show, I believe, is as we get more and deeper into things, and I know the interactive show, that's the main thing I wanted to do, and me and Son definitely wanted to do this today, is we wanted to get out, we wanted to broadcast, we wanted to get some of the information out, but the interactive show, which we're going to be doing next week, is going to be phenomenal because a person has the opportunity to see rather than just hearing. And because everyone is now, a lot of people are now tuned more into visual, this will be definitely a treat for them.
Well, I'm getting the switchboard up now, and I wanted to say this this other thing. This guy I work with in the industry, he told me this one thing about all of his peers. Now, he's not an angel, but he's not a demon either. He's just, somebody that's being controlled. But, we're all being controlled to an extent. It's just like by who. But what he told me was, he said, there's a difference. He said, all of these people that are around me, they're all stylists. He said, I'm a designer. I design things. Because he's saying it arrogantly because, he gets pride from the esoteric knowledge that he has, and he holds this over people. It's like, a Mason is really not going to give you his secrets. So, but that's the thing. Now the secrets are out. Like, if you look, it's everywhere now. This is why YouTube is being fluent with it. But the whole point is that even he is telling you, this is from the beast or whatever. This is telling you that, be a designer.
You know what? I think that this rings true with the scripture out of Enoch, where it says that all of this that was taught to man, as far as what they thought was going to be the benefit, and this could all just be an allegory. The things that they're teaching to individuals that they think is a benefit is actually what was the trash of higher existence. No matter how much they can imagine that they're going to receive large amounts of power and control, and they even get it, they're still now so tied to it, but still realizing that they're strapped to some type of nuclear bomb that's already been launched. And that they've been.
Now you go ahead and finish when you finish in.
Oh no, I know that like I said, I know we're.
Well, we got a caller. We got a caller with their hand up, and I just want to make sure they don't have, see if they have a question. This is area code 914. I'm going to unmute because I see your hand up. So here we go. You're on.
Hello.
Calling.
Hi.
Yes, calling 914. Welcome to Esoteric Radio. Did you have a question?
Yes. I'm also a member of the Word, and I've been a member for a while now. I actually sent Brother Sevan a message a couple of days ago. I was wondering if you got it. Tumani Obafemi. I don't mind having my name over the air, but I was wondering, since you guys are speaking on the industry, I have a lot of family members that are definitely in the industry. They've been in the industry for quite some time, and they're currently doing a lot of work right now. I don't know if you guys know, but in New York area, or the East Coast area at least, we've been hearing a lot of Ludacris over and over. Just me and my friends in the past couple of weeks have sat back and actually observed in 1 hour, spent over and over, at least 3 times, we'll hear them. Family members of mine that actually direct, business partners with him, and it's kind of interesting to me that every year around this time they do this. So I've been getting a lot of information from you, and I want to thank you very much. I have a little group here. We got started up here that's been doing a lot of works with your knowledge you've given us, and I really appreciate it. But it's given me a lot of questions as well. Like since I was a little boy growing up, all I can remember is my teachings. And my mom and dad often made it known for me though as well to think for yourself. Like they didn't want me to follow any thing against my will. So that's where all the questions come from. But that's pretty much what I was calling in.
Well, that's decent.
Definitely. We're here. It's all really like a family, and we get questions asked because the same questions that we get questions answered because the same questions that you have are also the same ones other people have. And even what we're doing now, there's somewhat of always a traditional radio format. Like even in the book, they have normally a traditional writing format, and I don't use that writing format. And it's just like the radio show. We don't use and at the top we're going to go ahead and take something here and okay, back to you, Jim. It's wide open because we really are more interested just in the recordings and people being able to get to the information. And so if you definitely have a question about anything, I would address it now because now's the time.
For me, especially recently, since I've been doing, I'm right into the Awakening in the Third Eye. I'm almost done with that. I've read the Code of the Matrix several times. I mean, let me tell you, I got a fan base over here for you of no other, and I'm signing them up, trying to get them sent your way. But nevertheless, for me personally, right now, I get steady buzzing in my ear, like it's nonstop. I mean, it's like a vibration, almost like I can't really explain it, but I don't even.
Is it like a fluttering? Is it like a fluttering?
Almost, but in and out. And then often, any of my buddies will tell you this. When we're walking down the street, I even acknowledge it for them. All the lights, when I get to the lights, they always change. Right on cue. Like, I don't even have to look anymore. It's across the street almost. I just, because some drivers don't drive correct. But it all the time, without a doubt. Like, it's always there. And even though I understand it, it's balloons jumping around.
Well, one of the things that I definitely have, and I've definitely made comments about this on the site, is that ringing in my right or left ear when something's about to take place. Like what I figured out, one thing I figured out about this, and it's hooked to the same system of what you're mentioning, is when a person wants to come and see you, right? Like when they make that decision, I'm going to go and see him. Their astral vehicle, which is one of the 7, as they call it, like there's 7 astral vehicles apparently, or 7 ethereal vehicles that you can use with your body. One goes off to the person's house. And because the only thing you can really hear when these super plus beings come is something like a ringing in the ear, which is their energy, because everything makes a sound. That was, I knew, like I would, if my ear rang a certain type of way, I'd be like, someone's coming right now. And then 5 minutes later, someone will knock on the door. And because it was like their being had already got there and I could hear it. And so I started recognizing it, because you remember in the Code of the Matrix when I talked about, when your ear is ringing, then, it's like the indication that there's something and there's another presence around. Are we still connected to the line?
Still there, caller?
Okay, he might have dropped out of the line. I'm sure he'll call back. But it's definitely we're actually
his line's still unmuted. He must have dropped out. So I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna put it back on mute.
Okay, I'm sure he's gonna probably call back in. And I'm looking at the time. I definitely wanted to. I'm going to shoot out the website one more time. It's www.resistance2010.com. Our YouTube channel is Innerstanding. That's INNERSTANDINNING. There's a lot of great videos there, some work that we've definitely put together. I wanted to give definitely a lot of...
Sorry about that.
Okay, don't worry about that. I told you we don't really have a format. And of course, these recordings will be available later on. They'll be available also on the site. And there's a lot of stuff that we share all the time that we record for. If you're a first-time listener, there's a lot of knowledge that we've recorded on video and of course on just recording alone, and that's available. Also, frequencies. There's frequencies available on the site to bring up the chakras and the vibration. There's a lot of instructions on MMS, which is definitely a miraculous formula discovered, very inexpensive, but able to cure many different things, almost everything. And also there's just a lot of interaction that goes on between excellent people all around the world. We're not pro-black, pro-white, and that's really what's also caused somewhat of a dissension between the resistance and other factions, is because the resistance refuses to take any one side. We're here for the people. We're here to give the information to those. We understand that there's a positive and balance in everything, and so we don't care really what your past is or really your future. We just care what's going on now. So we're bringing the information to you, and what you choose to do with it is none of our business.
Right.
So, son, did you want to go ahead and
take them out with "You Are the Resistance"?
Well. How much time do we have left? Because I'm not looking on the actual. Okay, we have 15 minutes. Okay, well let's get a couple more things out here on the table. I want to highlight a couple things that'll be available on next show. Okay, a couple things had occurred with some of the recordings that I put up in regards to Haiti and this pact that's supposed to be made by Haiti. And Son had uncovered a lot of stuff, especially when it came to the Faustian tradition that exists there. But I really have to show this information, and I have to even read it more myself in order to bring it to everyone the way we like to bring it to everyone, which is very correct. But it's very interesting that as they always say, what's done in the dark will come to the light. So it's definitely coming to the light. But the sheer magnitude of what's actually happening here for the consciousness of the human race, if they can access any of this information at any point, is a total level of consciousness where they're actually now awake. This information and this level of interacting with things and becoming proactive about what you want to do and where you want to go is what gives you back the internalization, because you're actually investing in yourself. When you read, you're investing in yourself. When you go and buy a pair of shoes, you're investing in really someone else unless you need those shoes really bad. Now, how many pair of shoes do you have in the closet? Like, I know I even have 3 pair of shoes in the closet. So, but there's a level where if you have 10, 15 pairs of shoes in the closet, you're not buying the shoes anymore for yourself. Right. You're really buying them for everyone else. And that is the part of externalization that should be highlighted by the individual. This doesn't mean that you should go and throw all your shoes away now, but it just means that this is where you have to watch yourself. No one's going to be able to tell you what to do anymore as far as making you do something, because that robs you of choice. That makes us no better than any other religion and things out here if we tell you have to do all of this. But what I'm saying is that we've discovered so many different things that can take you into a higher state of consciousness, that if a person can find one of them, that will improve their total outlook on life. And that's why I say things like the MMS, because in the body there's a high level of bacteria that infects the mind in itself and how clear it's able to think. And when it eradicates things like that and brings up the alkalinity level of the body, then the person is more than capable of really reading and seeing things on a deep level. Like this, for instance, when you look at when they make a movie, they grab, the famous term is they grab the bullhorn and they say quiet on the set. So that for individuals, for normal individuals, like, okay, that's just one of the terms. They want everyone to be quiet. But in the words of power, if they say quiet, first of all, making everyone silent, then they say on, which is the name of the power of the deity, the set, meaning that they're actually calling set, and everyone knows that the affiliation between much of the media is to do with Set and Sat, which are the Saturnalian affiliation, or which is really just Satan. But still understanding that Satan and Lucifer and these beings are different characters. And what the esoteric world has now done is succeeded in putting them all into the same bunch, and that's just allowed individuals to get that much more confused about what's really going on. So what we'll be doing definitely is uncovering things in real time of what we experience in the industry, what we experience out in our normal lives, and we'll be interfacing on the site, also interfacing with individuals. And we're here, we're young. If you feel like you want to contribute something to the resistance as far as your time is concerned, to get more information out to individuals to put them in the know, we can show you how to do that. If you want to just do the enlightening thing for yourself, because that's what we always recommend, a person does it for themselves first, that way they're in a proper condition to be able to address others, then we're here to assist you with that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we're speeding up this year, just as we've predicted that 2010 is going to be the year that changes this reality completely, a year that man and woman will never forget. And so now that we're pretty much closing out here, I'll ask Son, if you have anything else to address the people on, I would definitely do so now, and then you can just take us out of here with the original Resistance intro, which somehow didn't play. I don't know if that's actually on the switchboard. Because something else played when
got it on here at the 70%. So I don't really have much to say. Just that we're gonna keep this. This is the main thing I wanted to express earlier about technology, is that I don't know if you noticed, but all these companies have horrible technical support. You know, so and on the other side, people just object design. Like, they just don't care about typography. They don't care how things look. They just want to get it done so they can get their money and then buy some other good that wasn't designed well and doesn't have good tech support. So these are things. It's Ouroboros, not Aurora Borealis. You know, and it's funny because they make Aurora Borealis like these are the lights. So be attracted by the lights. You know, and then you got Ouroboros. You know, and this is their thing. This is the way that they see life. You know, they say.
Right, and then last time I seen something attracted to the light, and it's funny that you bring this up because it kind of runs full circle. Last time I seen something that really flew into the light, like one of those insects, it died. I guess one shouldn't be afraid of death, but I can definitely say that some of these individuals have gotten themselves involved with the black sun have been blinded by the light.
If homie's got his hand up again, and I did want to say about that information on Ludacris. I just watched Gamer, so that look at Ludacris, he's always playing that same character too, and listen to his name.
How much time is actually on there?
Left.
Okay, let's go ahead and take that caller so we can go ahead and close out with
area
him.
code 914. I'm going to unmute you, and you're going to be on air now.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, we had lost you for a moment there.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened with my phone. But Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's Blog Talk. They be having a lot of technical difficulties. But go ahead, do your thing.
We just got hit with the blizzard. Yeah, well, we got a little group we're trying to form over here as well, and all the guys that I have around me, we got a lot of questions as far as like the spirituality aspect. I've already started in on the chakra toning and the frequencies, and I appreciate that as well. Actually, a question about that. A lot of my friends were actually wondering about headaches when they hear the high frequency. Is that?
It depends. Well, first of all, they really shouldn't be experiencing headaches with those frequencies in particular, because I scan them for headaches because I hate to get headaches when listening to frequencies, and I have gotten headaches before when listening and testing certain frequencies. But the ones on the resistance as described should be used as described. Now, there's one frequency in particular that's used to zap negative energy out of the environment because they can't stay in that frequency. But it should not be put on a pair of headphones. You see what I mean? Because it's not playing into the environment. So that is probably the only frequency that I know that could cause a headache. And then the rest of those frequencies should definitely be dealing with the chakra centers. And because, that's one of the things that I look at more myself, is that I don't want to be playing no frequency. I need something that's light on the touch. Like that chakra tone completion, man, that was a life's work that took a certain individual a long period of time to actually calibrate. But when you listen to it, you can actually tell that. And that's the one you put on the earphones and you listen for yourself because it's for your chakras. But when it comes to piercing the environment with frequencies, you can't use that frequency on headphones or something like that. So if maybe a mistake like that was making, then that was the only case that something like that could happen.
Mhm. And another quick question off the subject. With this question, what's your take on that? Because that's a really big part of my life. But as I said before, I'm a truth seeker, so I'm ready.
Say that again.
The Zulu Nation. What would be your take on?
Okay. My take on the Zulu Nation right now is still under I'm gathering data. It's under investigation by me. And the reason is because, first of all, I want to understand completely the affiliation between the Zulu tribe and Mars, since that was mentioned by Cradle. I want to understand why Zu, which means bird, and Lu, which is the first being that was created here by the Anunnaki, they called it a Lulu. I want to know what that tie-in is, because I don't really look at anything like, oh, they're evil. We continue to grow as we come in and out. People got to realize that the code was written like 2.5 years ago, and I just came out of a portal, and I had tons of information, and I knew something was up, and I wanted everyone to know because it was vivid. I had 100% contact. I made 100% log and data of what was going on. I had another person with me, but I had other encounters before, but it was always by myself, or when I was in a state of purifying myself through thought and things like that. So I wasn't really trying to share it with nobody anyway. Like, I didn't come into this saying, okay, I'm going to come out and do like everyone else. Man, we've been in the esoteric world for really 5 years, as far as we started with oimorg.com, or oimorg.ning.com, and that's when I first started bringing out the information about what was taking place. But now that we've come in, it's been 3 years now, my knowledge, I'm still unpacking the information that I was talking about in the beginning of the book, but I've run into tons of individuals. I've even run into what would be perceived as turbulence, but it's all been benefit. And I've been told to take a whole other standpoint on this, which is to make sure individuals don't get abused because they didn't know. See, if they know, after that, there's nothing that we can really do. But when someone is trying to con an individual and say, hey, yeah, it's over here, the person needs to know what they get involved in. So Zoo means bird. Lu means something like, from what I understand, something of an organic being that can be created and you can infuse a soul inside of it. And souls can be gathered, just like Solomon was trapping souls in water and bottles and stuff like that. Souls can be gathered somehow, and the Egyptians figured out how to do that with a vortex-type situation, which you see in the pyramid system. And so this is what's called a reincarnation process, but was always, some people hear reincarnation and say, oh, great, we reincarnate. This is known as a curse in all higher levels of thought. If you had to reincarnate, it was a problem, and you had to repeat something. And what I just noticed now is that if mankind keeps warring against each other, like the black and the white and things, and I know we're getting at the top of the hour, but if mankind keeps warring against each other and killing each other and then coming back again, you know, like warring with each other, killing each other, and then coming back again to war with each other and killing each other, it's like how long? That is, again, what someone was talking about, the Ouroboros, the serpent eating his tail. And now we've gotten
3 minutes left.
Okay, good. So now we've gotten so much larger than that, and so you know how to definitely interface with me on the site. And we're going to do a video next week. If you want to get with us and have some of your friends call in and ask some questions, we can definitely interface. And then later on, of course, we'll have something like a blog meeting. So we're going to go ahead and shut the show down.
Well,
and tell me your name again one more time.
My name is Tumaini Kahende Obafemi.
Okay, I know exactly who you are.
New York. Yes.
Yeah, I know exactly who you are.
Okay,
son.
We're gonna mute your phone, and I'm gonna go to this chat room. We got 2 minutes left. Maybe we could say something about this. And the thing is, as I don't know if you guys know, but after this, it's going to stay on for a while. I don't know if we're going to continue to talk, but this Sadie G 636 has Sevan got anything to say about Zimbabwe? Now, is that something that we can do in a 2-minute mark?
Yeah, we definitely can, but I have a lot to say about Zimbabwe, and we will do that on the next show because I discovered a lot because I had some friends that were definitely in Zimbabwe and experiencing a lot of things. And I know that we were definitely at the top of the hour, so I want to say, sister or brother, that, yeah, we'll definitely get to Zimbabwe the next show and to understand what was really going on there with Cecil Rhodes. And there was supposed to be, as Cradle said, one of the final reptilian beings that was actually buried there also, or lived there in one of those luscious Solomon's mines that are located in Zimbabwe. So we'll get on that in next show, definitely.
Okay, we got 90 seconds left, so
okay. I would definitely take them out with the outro track, and yeah, we could definitely go out with the outro in that way. And then this, of course, to everyone, this will be on recording and things, and you'll be able to get with us on the site if you want to, the resistance2010.com. And I just want to say to everyone out there, wholeness and balanced vibration, and we're here, and we're alive, and we're activated.
All right, here we go. Wholeness and balanced vibration to all.